Welcome into Gainbridge Fieldhouse. I'm Eli Gain, where the Pacers didn't have that miracle comeback in this Game 3 as the Cavaliers go on to win by a final of 126-104, a game that they handled the entire time. The Pacers, they did tie it up at the end of the first quarter, but since then, the Cavs outscored them in the second quarter by 21 points, and it was basically ball game by then. The Cavaliers, they were fully healthy. They had the three guys that they rely on back in the lineup, making their rotations, and of course, Donovan Mitchell, 43 points. He's now averaging over 41 in this series, carrying the Cavaliers once again. As for the Pacers, the hero in Game 2 as well as in Game 5 against the Bucks, Tyrese Halliburton, held to just 4 points, as once again the Cleveland Cavaliers get the victory, and it is now a 2-1 series lead for the Pacers.
Well, I'm going to try to answer all your questions before you ask them. This was a very poor effort at the beginning of the game, through too many parts of the game. It's on all of us. We all own it. Pretty clearly, I didn't have these guys ready for this, so I take responsibility for that. Ty had a rough game. I got to do more to get him involved, get him shots, get him in better positions to, defend better, all those kinds of things. So, the guy's had an amazing week. It's one game, and if he was up here, he'd say, I'll be better, so he will, and I got to help him be better. In terms of the zone defense, we'll look at it. We've seen every zone there is this year. We've had success against everything we've seen. We've had struggles at times, but we'll adjust and do better. And then, Cleveland played great. I mean, they played desperate. They played the way they needed to play. We've got to simply fight harder from the very beginning of the game. We did not do that. I mean, you get down 11-0, you're not there. You're not there the way you need to be. And so we got to do better there.
You've talked about rebounding a lot throughout the series being something.
Well, we got killed on the boards. I mean, it was 56-37 on the boards, 18-4 on the offensive boards. And look, this is not on the officials. All right, zero to do with the officials. This is us not playing with enough presence, posture, disposition, whatever you want to call it. And so we've got to fix it. And we've got 48 hours to do it. And it's a little less than that now. But it's playoff series are long. Lots of ups and downs, lots of new storylines every game. I mean, from the standpoint of this game, the storyline is, we got to fight harder. We didn't fight hard enough. They did. They outfought us.
Since you mentioned force and disposition, I guess was that a big reason why you put James in at the end, to make a point about force and disposition and put a guy out there that's obviously going to play with that?
James has been working hard and decided to put him in the game to get some minutes.
What you've talked about how some guys can change the geometry of games. How do you think Evan Mobley being back changed the geometry of this one, both when they were playing zone and when they were playing man?
Well, look, Mobley's a great player. He's a defensive player of the year, and he's an all-star. So, bring that guy. It's like bringing Akeem Olajuwon back to the Houston Rockets, or I'm trying to think of who else. He's a great player. So he's gonna help their team be considerably better. And so, for us, we've got to do better at the point of attack. We got to block him out. We got to stay square on him and make it harder for him. We didn't do that enough with any of their guys. And we've got to pick it up, obviously.
What, I guess, in terms of, one positive, what did you like from what you saw from Ben Mathurin in terms of, especially after you had that?
I'm not worried about Mathurin. I mean, in a game like this, where it's physical and it becomes a fight, I mean, that's his kind of game. And he showed out, he showed up. And it's not just about him putting the ball in the basket. I mean, he's out there fighting, fighting these guys full court. And I thought he had a good mindset. And I thought some of our guys had a good mindset. We just collectively didn't do enough together. And we can't have four guys tied together and one guy on a possession, not all there. And, I'm sure when I go back and look at it, there'll be a lot of those. And that's, we own it. So, we got to do better.
Rick, Donovan had back-to-back 40-point games. I guess what do you all have to do differently to contain him more? I know he's a great player, but what have you seen?
Yeah, he's a great player. We got to make it harder on him. I don't know what else to tell you. He's opportunistic. He's been living at the free throw line. We got to keep him off the free throw line. It's one thing if he makes difficult shots over a hand. It's another thing if we march him to the free throw line and give him and ones. We can't do that.
Pascal, that zone they went in really challenged you guys in this game. What is so difficult about it, or the way they've been trying to defend you guys today?
I just thought we were just slow. We didn't get to anything really. Weren't able to attack it in a good way. We're just gonna go back, watch it, find a way to get better. I don't know. I can't really tell you much about it.
And you found some cracks in that defense. What do you think is the key to getting through it in the next game?
Just watch the film, learning from it, and doing it.
Rick's talked to us about rebounding being a big thing for you guys. I think we're 19 more than you guys in this game. Is that something they're doing? Technique? Why do you feel like you guys have been so behind in that?
Yeah, they play like a team that's down 2-0, and they out-fought us, out-rebounded us. That can't happen. It doesn't matter who they have, or what they do. That's bad. So we got to get better at that.
Is there a theme to these slow starts to you? This is 2 games in a row, or just you guys got to get going better?
We just got to bring the fight from the beginning. We just didn't do it, and we have to correct it and do it the next game. They brought the fight to us. We can't let that happen.
For either or both of you guys, how does just Mobley change the geometry of what you do, what they do? How does he just make them a lot more difficult to attack? He's obviously Defensive Player of the Year, but how does he add to what they can do?
I don't know much. I think his length, he's like you said, Defensive Player of the Year. So they got him, Jared Allen. They pressured us and they move well. So like I said, I think they played better, and we gotta bring another gear to what we do.
Seemed like it took a while for you to get a rhythm in this series, but it seemed like you were able to get some buckets down the stretch. You kind of find a rhythm there. What do you feel like you found, I guess, in the second half in terms of opportunity to get some buckets?
I just got to find, some creases in the offense. Continue to move as a team. We got to cut. We can't be predictable. That's what we've been all year. And I think, we just got to continue to find ways to stay active on offense and, keep the ball moving and just find spaces and just take whatever the defense gives us.
Pascal, how do you just wash this one and move on to focus on Game 4?
Yeah, you just got to move on. At the end of the day, it's one game. This is serious, we won 2 games, and obviously that feels good, but we understand that it's going to be a fight, and those guys are where they are for a reason, so they came back, and like I said earlier, they out-fought us in every category, 50-50 rebounds, they just did better than us, and we got to go back and come back stronger, but I believe in our team and the level of resilience that we have and the guys that we have on our squad. I know that this one is going to sting, but we're going to come back and be better next game.
Ben, after such a great game for yourself today, how frustrating is it that you still have to walk away as a team with the loss like this?
I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. I think it's just a moment of reality, a reality check to come back for next game on Sunday and just be ready to play.
How does this team regroup from your perspective for Sunday's game?
It already started. We lost the game, we got together, and tomorrow's another day. I feel like it is another day to realize what we did wrong and just to apply it for next game.
Pascal, you obviously have a ton of playoff experience and success in the playoffs with Tyrese having a game like today. What do you say to him tonight, tomorrow, to get him ready for Sunday?
I always say playoffs is up and down. You're going to have you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have character building days, and you know, this is one of those. We just gotta continue to get better. We're gonna watch film. I'm sure he's gonna do that. He works extremely hard on his craft, and as a team, we just, like I said, we just didn't have the juice that we usually have, and it's not an individual thing. It's a team thing, and for us, we just got to go back, continue to work. We know what we got to do, and like I said, it's a series, and it's great that we won 2 games in a row, and like everything, you know, I'm sure everybody's excited, but you have a team on the other side that wants to accomplish something too, and it's going to be a fight, and we got to be the team that fights the most and fights harder, and I think we're going to do that next game.
For both gentlemen, what's the line between bringing more physicality, more energy to a game without going over that line, and whether it's putting Mitchell on the foul line or getting a lot of fouls, that sort of thing? How do you bring that right to the edge where you can be physical back to them without giving something up?
Yeah, I think we gotta find you know, the balance, and I think, you know, the game is being called, you know, in a physical way, and I think, you know, we just gotta continue to do what we do, and at the end of the day, like, I don't think we have to adjust who we are. Like, we're going to be who we are, and live with the rest.
Coming up, I'll be joined by Tony East of Locked On Pacers as we break down the game. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back into Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Joining me now is Tony East for Locked On Pacers. 126-104, the final score in Game 3. And Tony, where do we, I guess, start with this one? No miracle in this game, and that was about as ugly as it could get.
I appreciated Rick Carlisle coming up to the podium postgame and telling us everything that he thought was wrong, because it matched all the questions I think everybody had. The Cavs had his own defense. That was newer-ish in the series. They've shown it before, not to this extent. Pacers couldn't solve it. The rebounding, 19 more rebounds for the Cavs. They end up taking 20 more shots than the Pacers. You can't have that. In general, those two things I thought were the story of the game, but the Pacers, another slow start. Their second quarter was dreadful, and the one that I think will be talked about a lot tomorrow, Tyrese Haliburton, just 4 points in this game, face guarding him everywhere in this half of the court, all over the Cavs were tonight. All those things in tandem just really got the Pacers out of rhythm, and the Cavs looked way better tonight.
And they were fully healthy as well. They had their 3 guys that were back in the lineup, and you saw them make an impact, especially Mobley right out of the gate. Like, he was awesome.
Absolutely. He can make threes, which he did today, but the defense, I mean, he was the defensive player of the year. We all know that part. When he can go from the top of the zone to the bottom in one step like a gazelle, it's just so much ground to cover. It's so much for the Pacers to deal with. They really struggle to create separation against him, so no matter how much they would move around the perimeter or try to play Pacers basketball, the shots just weren't there. Credit the Cavs for getting that zone going. I think the Pacers will hope to have solutions for the next game, but that really flummoxed them today, and Mobley was a big part of it.
And playing with their backs against the wall, they were desperate to get this one. So I guess if you look at silver lining, this is, I guess, it's a bad performance, but the Pacers still do have a 2-1 series lead, so it's a good thing they were able to pull things out on Sunday and Tuesday and kind of ride this into Sunday.
The most recent game always hits the hardest because it's the most recent table you have, but I think if you offered the Pacers or most Pacers fans a chance to be up 2-1 after 3 games, they'd have said, sounds great. It's great, and of course they have a lot to solve. They're on the back foot, if you want to say that now, after getting smoked today. They're one miracle 40-second run away from being down 1-2, but they're not. They're up 2-1. If they win their next 2 at home in the series, they will still win the series. They have to feel good about that part, and it's not like the problems are things they haven't solved before. They know how to rebound better. After a sluggish start to the season against zone, they did figure out solutions against that. Tyrese Haliburton has usually seen every coverage. He can solve those kind of things, so it's not insurmountable tasks, but still things that slow them down today they'll have to figure out for sure.
Absolutely. So when you were we were out here going live during the players who went in for the press conference, what was kind of their mindset in attacking what's going to happen in the next couple of days?
Yeah, Siakam was talking about a lot of what I would call efforty stuff, 50-50 balls, rebounding stuff that you just kind of have to lock in for lack of a better term. You have to just be prepared to play hard for a 48-minute game. And after the slow start, the Pacers overcame it. But when they got hit hard in the second quarter, they never really got too close after that. I think 11 was as close as it got after that point. I think they realized that a lot of those, the 50-50 balls when they're 80-20 balls in favor of the other team, that's just kind of an effort thing sometimes, right? You got to be ready to go. Rick Carlisle used his go-to line for a game like this when he said, I didn't have him prepared, right? The guys did not look ready to go from the jump for the second game in a row. That's a lot of stuff that's just kind of in you as opposed to basketball strategy that I think the Pacers are going to have to dig deep and find.
Is that what you're anticipating on Sunday? Is that what you want to see out of them more, just the effort
I think
aspect?
so, and a big credit to this team. But the last 2 years, they've shown one of their superpowers to be responding after big losses. I think they're undefeated this season after 10-plus point losses. That might not be true anymore, but at one point it was. Right, they're always good at figuring out solutions. I think their adjustments in game in a series have always been very sharp. But you don't want to be in a position where you have to do that, and they put themselves in with their play today.
All right, so Game 4 are going to be back here at Gamebridge Fieldhouse Sunday at 8 o'clock. As always, Tony, thank you, and we'll see you Sunday, and we'll see where it goes from here. All right, we're going to have all the coverage on 13 Sports as well as right here on WTHR+. For Tony East, I'm Eli Gain. Thanks for joining.